Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing well. How you doing this morning?
Doing very well, very well. I'll tell you what, it's a it's a beautiful day, and it's not so beautiful for Ime Udoka. It's kind of a tough day for him. Tough week.
He's got a lot of explaining to do, doesn't he?
Boy, you got a lot of explaining to
Explaining
do.
to do.
Explain yourself, boy. Anyway, let me be quiet. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm a finance guy, and my wife is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. And we like to talk about issues that relate to love and money and everything in between. And first off, before we get started, let's do a quick house cleaning check. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me okay. Sometimes we come in and there's something wrong with the system and we'll end up talking to ourselves for a long time. And just let us know you can hear us. Just say yes in the chat if you can hear us. Also, thank you, Lisa Omar. I thought I said Umar. Okay. Lisa Omar. See, let me stop. Thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate that. And also, shout out the city you're from. Let us know what city you're from. Claudia Hairston, good morning. I got to say hello to the family first before we get started. Marcelino Martinez, he says hello to the doctors. Well, hello to you too. April Phillips says they both knew he was engaged. Can't trust men or women. Ooh.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh, she sounds triggered. Jackson Renea, Pamela, Michael, how are you? Janet, Lisa's out of Omaha. That's Warren Buffett territory. Barry Chenault, how are you? Vic Powell says Albany, Georgia. Doris Kimbrough Burns, good to see you. Alan Benson out of Louisville, Kentucky. I was just in Louisville for a conference, so that's my home city. Let's see. Gina says just messy. Maria says San Antonio, Texas. Final thought is out of Detroit. All right, so let's get started. Give me a yes or no in the chat. How many of y'all followed any of this? Did any of you hear the story about Ime Udoka, who is the extraordinarily talented head coach of the Boston Celtics, but he was only able to show his talent as a coach for 1 year. For 1 year, he literally performed a miracle with the Celtics. They were 18-21. They had a losing record, and then he took over. I mean, he literally. Do you know that movie, The Bad News Bears?
Yes.
Like that's what he did. He took. They were the Bad News Bears, and my man took that team all the way to the NBA Finals.
That's right. Did they win? They didn't win
They
though.
did not win,
That's
but he
right.
took the. I mean, he brought he. I mean, it's funny because you think about Boston. You got those like racist white people in Boston. In Boston, we all like the dorkies here in Boston, and
Ooh.
but check this out though. But this brother like brought back Celtics glory that they lost. When Larry Bird left and all that. Rick Pitino came in and. You probably don't follow any of this, but just the backstory because I follow some of this. Rick Pitino, I was at Kentucky at the time. Rick Pitino was the head coach. He went to Boston.
How
They
did he do?
Oh, he did terrible. He recruited. First of all, he recruited all his players from Kentucky, like 4 or 5 of them, and they called them the Kentucky Celtics because he thought, well, if we won championships in college, we can win NBA championships. No, it didn't work. And also, he signed them up with these long-term contracts and really screwed up the organization for at least like 10 or 15 years. Like when I was teaching at Syracuse University, I remember when I brought up Rick Pitino, one of the kids was a Celtics fan, and he said, do not bring up Rick Pitino's name in my city. I hate that guy. Like, because he ruined the organ. So long story short, Ime, I was super proud of this brother because he brought the Celtics back to the glory that they lost.
Okay, so a white man took it down and a black man brought it back up again. That
Yes,
is not the agenda in
it
Boston.
ain't the agenda, but you know what? I think that they'll love anybody if you help them win.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think now if you
You
mess up,
you think they
now
really?
now if he was losing, they probably they probably want to like string him up. That's how they are, right? But they like black people to help them. They don't care. I mean, they're not. I mean, don't get me wrong. They are racist. There is racism there. But then again, I mean, let's be real. Like sometimes I know some black people who are racist, but if you're like a white person who like gives them money, they'll like you. They'll be your friend. Or if they get to know you as a person. Think about how many black people who would just say terrible things about white people, but they got like white friends and stuff.
Ah, well, they don't mean everybody. But that's so interesting. So he is suspended for 1 year, boys.
Yeah, yeah. So he got a 1 year suspension, And the interesting thing is they don't know if he's gonna come back actually, because now the woman that he slept with, it was all consensual. She wanted it, she wanted it, he wanted it, they did it. Um, she's now saying that he made an unwanted comment toward her, so that may
It
cause
was
him to
more
not
than
be.
one comment, though, right? I think it was a slew of comments that because I think, like, in order for you to really say that, someone has to make a comment to you, and then you have to say, please don't make that comment to me anymore. And then they do it over and over again. And I think that's when it starts to get into the harassment category. That whole thing is just messy. Who said messy? Someone said the whole thing was just
Ooh,
messy.
everybody had the word messy in the chat. Yeah, well, and it became even more complicated because he's engaged to Nia Long apparently, but it's a weird engagement, right? So he and Nia, they had a baby together in 2011 when they were dating each other, and then they got engaged in 2015. But then Nia has publicly stated that she does not want to get married, which is
Mm.
kind of strange if you have a fiance, right? And also engagements don't last 6 years typically. So a lot of people are talking about it and sort of confused about
They
it.
just weren't together. That engagement was called off. That's why we haven't heard from Nia Long. She's done with him. No,
Okay.
people, they just don't really announce it. It's
Mm.
just that's my impression.
So you think Nia? So you think they were just kind of like, well, we're just gonna have it like to be continued. Like we're just not gonna address it.
Or they could be in limbo, or they could be on a break. I just get the impression they probably weren't together.
Mm. What do y'all think? Y'all think they were together or not? But it's caused like a lot of conversation on the internet
Hmm.
because a lot of people are like, oh my god, how could you cheat on Nia Long? You dirty dog! You cheated on Nia.
Man, there's a lot of cheating going on. Did you see the lead singer of Maroon 5?
I don't know what
You don't know
is.
Maroon 5? They got that
Aren't there a
really.
bunch of white boys?
Yeah, but their music is really good. But
You
the
would
lead
know.
sing
I have no
I think
idea.
I can't remember his name, Adam Levine or whatever. He was cheating on his wife. She's pregnant. She's a Victoria's Secret model,
Hmm.
and she got cheated on.
Wow.
What the heck? It's
Well,
like
okay. Well, first of all, actually, before we move forward, let me let everybody know you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. My background's in finance, and my lovely wife, my lovely black, beautiful wife, is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. And we like to talk about topics, particularly those that relate to love and money. That's kind of where we intersect. And actually, I have a book called Financial Lovemaking. If you would like a free e-copy of the book, you can actually go to boyceandalicia.com, or you can get on Alicia's Black Singles database for free, or you can take our Black Love Challenge. We believe in Black love and we believe in Black families. So go to boyceandalicia.com and connect with us, and we'll take care of you. All right, so and hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. If everybody could please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, give me a yes in the chat once you're done. Let us know that you're connected. I want to stay connected with you because I think we can help you. All right, so here's the thing, right? Let's talk about the cheating aspect. A lot of people, it's really interesting to me when I see people that are like, "Oh my God, you cheated on Nia Long. How could you cheat on Nia Long?" Where does that come from? That people believe that if you have a really attractive mate, that cheating should be impossible because she's just so beautiful. You won't see another beautiful woman. There's no way. How in the world your eyeballs are now broken? All you can see, I mean, I don't get that when people are like, "Oh my God, you're married to Beyonce, Jay Z. How could you cheat on Beyonce?"
that is so funny. And there's so many people that think that cheating has to do with the person. It has to do with the other person. So it
Mm,
has to do with the person cheated on.
okay.
It just really kind of makes me furious when I ever see that.
So what?
Where
So Dr.
mhm.
McLaughlin Watkins.
Do not call me that.
So
You are wrong.
what is your theory on cheating?
Cheating has to do with the person who's cheating. It has to do with you. You're
Hmm.
the one. You're the cause of the cheating. People always try to blame someone else. They
Mm.
blame this person. Oh, I haven't seen them in a while, and oh, I haven't. We're not connected. It just has to do with the fact that I think um, I think you need to communicate very well what's going on inside,
Mm.
and sometimes people are just untrustworthy.
Hmm.
And sometimes cheaters just lie about everything that's going on in their life.
Hmm.
So they do different things. They lie. Not only are going to lie about who they're with and their partner, sometimes they just lie about different things like money and all sorts of things like that. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it's who you are. Sometimes cheaters, and it's funny because in my office when I get infidelity, when couples come to my office and infidelity is an issue, um, I think that what is really key is that infidelity happens and the hurt partner wants to know why. And when I do get couples where the person is able to dig down and able to describe and explain what led them to be unfaithful, I think that type of scenario has the best outcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody mentioned in the chat, I think it was Kenneth, who
Hmm.
said he said that this brother's now he used the cultural stereotype now.
What he
He
say?
said he's Nigerian, his father probably has 4 wives. Now I think that's a stereotype, right? We don't know what's going on with his life or his family or any of that. But and actually my DNA says I'm 1/3 Nigerian. So we Nigerians are very offended by that statement. But anyway,
I think I'm 12% Nigerian or 18.
okay, well that's
Yeah.
well,
So I don't like that either.
shout out to all the kind of pseudo Nigerians out here.
That's
I'm
right.
proud of my Nigerian blood. And but what about the aspect? What about the fact? What about this idea that maybe this this polyamory, whatever you want to call it, mindset could be just cultural. Just hey, where I come from, if you got big money, this man was very wealthy. He's very good looking. He's a handsome man. I mean, I don't see men that way. Ladies could probably give me a better assessment of it. But, think about this. You're 6'4". You're the very handsome, very wealthy head coach, superstar head coach of the Boston Celtics. What do you think are the odds that maybe this lady, was like, hey, I'm gonna get me a piece of that? And that, and then maybe it just
You think the lady came on to him
well, I'm
and he
gonna
wasn't able to like fend
Well,
her off?
I'm going to say this. I personally, as a man, am confused about this idea that consensual sex is almost seen the way people used to talk about sexual assault. Like that somehow, because so to me, if he's suspended for consensual sex with a woman that wanted to sleep with him, yeah, sure, they work together, but human beings are going to be human. People have been sleeping with their coworkers since jobs were invented.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
to
because
me, if he wait, so let me say,
mm-hmm.
let me finish, and then I'd love to
Oh,
hear
I
your
thought
thought.
that's what you really
No, no.
going to say.
So my thought is, if he gets suspended, then why don't she get suspended?
Well, how do we know she wasn't suspended?
I didn't read anything about it. Now you're right; it could have
Because
happened,
we
but they
don't
did,
know
but they
that.
did, they didn't mention it though.
Yeah, I don't know how. We don't know that she wasn't suspended because they said it was against their policy to have people have that dual type of relationship when you're in a relationship. And I think that if you do meet somebody on the job that you are attracted with, I think you have to report it to HR. Isn't that
Okay.
how it is? Like,
Yeah.
are we really in this relationship? We need to fill out
Mhm.
paperwork and actually submit it to HR.
That's real. I mean, and that's a crazy world that we live in
Mm-hmm.
because it's very strange that you have to tell HR what your personal life is. You know what I mean? Like I don't like
Mm.
that. Like I don't know how many of y'all, give me a yes or no. How many of y'all would feel comfortable telling HR who you getting busy with? Especially if I use the old school term, getting busy.
I
Yeah,
think,
but
but I think it
like
protects
especially
you.
especially if you're doing some of that unregulated sex. Like if you sleeping with
Well,
somebody you ain't supposed to sleep. Come on, how many of y'all have ever been in a situation where you had something going on? Like remember that song Secret Lovers?
well,
Yeah, that's what we are. I mean, but seriously,
you
so
can't
the,
keep it a secret nowadays.
yeah, I think I'm I will be willing to bet you that out of all the sex that happens on the job, about a third of that at least is sex that ain't supposed to be happening.
Mm-hmm. It's
Like
taboo.
you sleeping with somebody, you pretend to be the good girl, but you really want that thug.
Oh gosh,
You
you
know,
really think that scenario happens?
yes, I do. I've
Oh
seen it happen.
jeez.
I have seen scenarios where there was one time I was sitting in college, right? And I was sitting with this dude who's a street dude, and there was this little prissy white girl, and she was sitting there, and all three of us were having a conversation. And I was so naive, I didn't even realize that those two were flirting with each other because I never visualized those two being together. And then he comes back and tells me an hour, 2 hours later, he says, "Oh yeah, that girl we just met, I had sex with her just now." I said, "What?"
What?
I said, "What?"
Look at.
He said, "Yeah, we went back to I helped her carry her stuff up to her room." It all went down. I said, all this, and I kid you not, their whole courting process occurred right in front of me, and I didn't even see it happening. Like, and because they were talking about like English class and stuff. I didn't even. I was sitting right there. I saw it. I saw when he met her, got to know her, and within like an hour,
Are you kidding? An hour?
this prissy little white girl was sleeping with this.
Oh well,
Yeah, like people
that's
do
how they
stuff like
are.
that.
They do.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
to me, I just think that when you're talking about something as powerful as love, sex, and attraction, you can never underestimate the chaos that occurs like beneath the surface. So here's my deal. Here's what I'm saying. I just think it's a little bit naive of us to think that everybody who's having sex with anybody on their job is always going to feel comfortable reporting it to HR, putting it on the public record.
Hmm.
You know, and that right there just makes it awkward. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is awkward because you spend so much time at work, or we used to spend so much time at work. I mean, sometimes you spend more time at work with your coworkers than you do with your own family. And so it makes
Mm.
sense that relationships would develop. It really does make sense. But I think the issue, I mean, just think about it. You're a coach of a major basketball team, so you're traveling around. You're in the thick of the basketball season, and then you're
Mm.
engaged to Nia Long, who's making movies and television shows and getting her career going. Her career is pretty well established. I mean, can you imagine that? It's really difficult to stay connected throughout
Well,
the entire process.
I do agree, right? So I think that there's like the practical reality of how how hard is it to maintain a traditional relationship when you're in the NBA and then you're allegedly supposedly engaged to a woman who is a Hollywood actress, for God's sake.
Who won't marry you?
Well,
Maybe he's upset because I wonder if, she had this baby and maybe he wanted to settle down. And
well,
she made a public announcement, I do not want to get married.
I don't know. I think at that point we're reading too much into it. Like
Okay.
we don't know what happened in their relationship.
Okay.
We don't know who didn't want to get married. Maybe it was an agreement. Maybe it was her. Maybe it was him. My point is just the logistics of you know, him being a busy NBA head coach.
It's a lot of stress on
He's
him.
working all the time. He's always on the road, right?
Hmm.
And she's a busy actress that's always working, always on the road. So at the very least, we know that their ability to connect like a typical couple that's together all the time is limited. Do you remember that NBA player? It was Doug something. I remember he had a real high vertical leap, and he had a wife who literally would drive behind the NBA bus.
You kidding me?
No,
She ain't playing.
she followed him to every city. She was like, the only way I can keep him from, from cheating is to always be there and have that stuff available for
Okay,
him,
wait.
like a
So
life support system.
you know for sure that okay, so the motivation for her traveling behind the bus was not to support her husband, was to make sure interference so that he doesn't cheat on her. That don't work like that.
Well, okay,
It should have
okay,
been.
let's just be clear. She came off a little crazy. It came off a little weird. Right? But now he was actually it was Doug Christie. Thank you, watching Lakers. Yeah, so it was awkward. It was weird. People made fun of it. People thought it was strange.
That is
And then
strange.
it looks kind of desperate for her to be like driving behind the bus, like
And
everywhere they
he
because she
don't cheat
couldn't.
on her anyway. It doesn't make a
Well,
difference.
possibly. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. He was with it. He was cool with it. He was like, "Thank you." It was almost like okay, these women are a drug, like and I need my AA sponsor with me, to keep me from going in the crack house or going into the bar. So he was cool with it. She was cool with it. And when they were both cool with it, I was cool with it.
No, that means there was no trust between the two of them.
You think that's what? But
Yeah,
what?
because it was just like what I said. It's about trustworthiness.
Yeah, but what about all that temptation? I kind of feel like it. With NBA coaches and players, I don't really think most of us can relate to what it would feel like to have gorgeous but very attractive people around you all the time, constantly offering you anything that you want. I don't think you have to be a bad person to fall temptation to that. And I think that their awareness of like we're not dealing with a typical environment. We're dealing with an extreme environment. Like I'm trying to be on a diet.
Everybody has
You know,
temptations.
everybody does,
Hmm.
but it's different when your temptations are thrown in your face constantly. Like if I'm trying to, it's one thing if I'm trying to eat healthy. Like for example, when I was trying to eat less sugar, you know what I did? I didn't buy candy. I didn't have any sugar in the house. So whenever I had a
Hmm.
craving for sugar, I'd be like, damn well, to get some sugar, I got to get up and go to the store and put my clothes on. I
Well,
don't want to
what
do all that.
gave you a craving for sugar? What triggered your craving?
It's just good.
Yeah, I mean, so you because you're so used to. I mean, there's a lot of people that can trick their mind. There's different things you can do to trick your mind and say, I don't want to have all that sugar in me. I don't
Okay.
want all of that. I don't want to have to go to. I mean, there's people who emotionally eat, but really, if they deal
Mm.
with their emotions, then they don't have to. So what I mean is that it's internal. It's them.
What if you just like sugar? What if there's no emotional trigger? What if it's just like
Well, if you have a craving
candy
for
tastes
sugar, it's
better than
something.
Brussels sprouts? I want some
Does it
candy.
really? Man, you ain't had no Brussels sprouts like me.
See, you're weird. Well,
I'm not weird. I
well,
love
your Brussels
Brussels sprouts.
sprouts are good. You just cook everything so well.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
See, you got my cooking. You don't need no other cooking.
I know.
You full. You are nice and
Ladies,
full.
don't y'all be cooking nothing for me.
He nice and full. He don't need no meal. He's already fed. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't even care. Like you have to just why no trust? Why just say
Mm.
go to your games and I'll see you when you get back? Why
Okay,
not?
okay. All right, everybody. Well, in case you just got here, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. Dr. Alicia is a licensed therapist. She sees couples and individuals on a regular basis. And her website, if you want to know more about what she does, is coachingwithdralicia.com. You can follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. And also, don't forget, Dr. Alicia is going to do her speed dating again this year, which was a huge hit at last year's All Black National Convention. The All Black National Convention is a premier gathering of B1 Black First people from all around the planet. If you believe in things like Black love, Black wealth, Black unity, Black power, if you love Black men and love Black women, the All Black National Convention is the place for you. This year we're going to meet in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you can learn more. It's October 28th to the 30th, and you can learn more by visiting allblacknationalconvention.com. I'll put the URL on the screen, and the convention's a month away, so we hope you guys will come by, and we'd love to meet you in person. Okay, so let's sort of switch gears just a little bit here. I'm gonna put a picture here. That man, do you know who that man and that woman are in that picture? I know you know. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see it?
Mm-hmm.
That's my mother and my father. My father, Larry Watkins, married my mother in 1974. He's not my biological father, but he is my dad in every way imaginable. And they have been married for almost 50 years. They'll be doing their 49th year anniversary next year. Number 50 is right after that. I have watched them stay married in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, and the 2010s. And I admire that. I have a tremendous amount of respect for that. He also taught me manhood and a lot of good things that I carried through my life. Now, the reason I bring my father up is this: my father's also kind of crass. You know, he's a Vietnam veteran. He cusses a lot. You know, he was a cop for 25 years. He's killed people. He's actually had to kill people before. Now, uh, here's what my father told me. My father gave when I got my job at Syracuse University, I joined the faculty. Here I was 30 years old. I was the only Black person in America to get a PhD in finance. So I was hot shit. I was getting recruited a lot. I was making six figures. I was single. I could do whatever I wanted, you know, and my attraction level seemed to just instantly jump with women that met me. Oh, he's a professor who makes
Were there women
a
coming
lot of
on to
money.
you
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
Syracuse?
Well, here's what happened. So what my father did was,
Did you
um,
have temptation?
well, let me tell you the story.
Okay, I
So when I
want
took
to
the
know.
job at Syracuse, one thing my father said to me was he said, "Don't fuck anything on that campus." That's how he said it. He said, "Don't." Actually, he said, "Don't you fuck nothing on that campus."
Mm-hmm.
And I took it to heart. I just didn't do it. Now, this was before the Me Too era and all this other stuff, but he was just kind of saying, you know, if you have a sexual urge, you better fulfill that urge somewhere other than your job. And I just took it to heart. I didn't understand it exactly why. I didn't see anything wrong with two people being attracted to each other that work together because I think you're working all the time. You're around your coworkers a lot. These workplace attractions happen all the time. I don't think that they should be criminal, but I took my father's advice. So years later, about 8 years in, there was another professor who was the same age as me who got into a relationship. Now he was dating a student, which I think is an absolute no no. and but it was consensual. He was maybe 29, she was 24, so it's not like the age gap was
They're
a big
both
deal,
adults.
right? They were both adults, but she, after the relationship ended, I think 6 months later, she reports him for sexual misconduct. Now I don't even know what sexual misconduct was at the time. I was like, is it rape? It doesn't sound like rape, but either way, though, I remember specifically seeing his mugshot on TV. Like they had him on TV, like he was O.J. Simpson, like he really killed somebody. And I remember thinking about what my father's advice in terms of, just like I think men have to protect themselves. Like you can't, so I go back to this brother with the Celtics.
Wow.
I'm looking at it more so from a real life standpoint. I think America has a bias against men and black men in particular. I think that he probably is the apple of the eye of a lot of women that he works with. I mean, look at him. The brother's tall, handsome, wealthy, powerful, successful. Women are gonna like that. I'm sorry. People act like women are innocent little victims. They don't know what's going on. That's not true. Um,
It's not
and,
always true. Sometimes it is true that women are victims of like for real harassment.
right,
Where you can document, could you please leave me alone, and they don't do it.
right, and I think
And it takes a lot of courage to stand up and to say something about it, by the way.
right, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, I hope she documented that
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
to show like, okay, this guy was really harassing me. But the fact that she slept with him voluntarily, she wanted to sleep with him, that to me says that I think it's patently unfair that he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
lose
Or he could
his
have been,
reputation.
he
Like
could have, yeah, it is
he,
bad. Or
he ain't no rapist.
he
That's what I'm
could have,
saying.
he could have been obsessed with her. I mean,
Mm,
that happens
yeah,
sometimes.
she could have put it on
She
him.
could have put it on him, and he just like following her around. And she's like, "Hold on, I don't want to do it." Look, she probably had many conversations, frank conversations with him. Like, listen, you do this one more time, you are overstepping your boundaries. Like, I'm gonna have to report this. You are gonna have to stop. Like, I mean, we haven't heard her side of the story, but I mean, I know we see men as victims, and I know that they can be victims at times. I said, but sometimes they can be obsessed. You
True.
never know. You
and and
never
and,
know
wo-
what's
and
happening.
women too. I mean,
Women can be
I
obsessed
had to
too.
I had to threaten to put a restraining order on a woman.
Several women.
When I was single. Actually, you're right. It was more than one
Several
woman.
women you had to put a restraining order.
Right. So ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't several. It was two. But
Well,
and one woman I did.
couple.
One woman I didn't even know her. She was literally just a crazy fan. Another woman I did have a relationship with, and I remember having to do things to keep the distance. So it does happen to men and women. And I think with this case, the idea here is that nobody knows. Like nobody knows. And I'd be curious. Like if she says he made inappropriate comments, I'd like to hear what those comments were.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly how it went down.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure
I.
this investigation's been going on all summer. I'm almost certain.
Mhm.
They've been talking about it all summer, and they just put a press release out recently.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
what. They probably. I'm hoping they did a thorough investigation because he's a great coach, and I think the Celtics organization they don't want to lose him. So for them to make that decision to suspend him does imply that perhaps there is more to it than the public knows.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think my concluding point on this would be, in terms of thinking about those who are in the audience, those of you who are listening, is you got to warn your sons about this. You have to warn your sons because black men are given this cultural duality that's very confusing. On one hand, you're listening to hip hop music and rappers all the time telling you to run around and sleep with whoever, whatever pretty girl walks by, right? And you're getting that extra boost of excessive hypermasculinity that leads you to think that sexual promiscuity is one expression of that, which we can debate that or not. It's up to people to decide. But then on the other hand, you're in corporate America, where in corporate America, if a boss, if you become the boss and you got money, those women that work for you and underneath you are going to be attracted to you, and they're going to throw stuff at you, and you may be tempted to take it, but then the consequences are huge. There's so many black men I've seen. I remember hearing about a Nike executive who's doing a great job, who lost his whole career because he had consensual sex with a coworker. So you got to warn your sons. That I think that's the point.
I think it's just terrible that we have to like put all this fear into people. Like your father, I mean, he almost like put the whole fear into you when you started
Mm.
this. I mean, it's how exciting. You got this new job. Is this your first faculty position
Yeah.
from Ohio State? Like how exciting is that to like go on this campus, like minds, smart minds, and you want to get out, you want to meet people, and it is possible that you could meet somebody and actually fall in love with another faculty member and
Mm-hmm.
actually get married. Like there's faculty at my university who met on the job, got married and had children, and they're retired together and they
Mm-hmm.
grow old together. Like I've seen so many scenarios where it's turned out great. And
Mm-hmm.
just that we have to have this conversation where we have to just like implant mistrust, fear,
Mm.
hesitation, anxiety, nervousness. Like you ain't even started your job and you scared somebody's gonna. Oh, I hope they don't take it the wrong way, and it's gonna get to the point where men are just never ever gonna want to ever come on to anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody loses when you create that environment of fear. Because I can tell you, when I was at Syracuse, I worked with a couple of black women that I knew were single, who were very attractive, who I think were interested in me. But literally, I looked at them almost like I was talking to another man.
Yeah, I mean, how
Like
terrible is that? You could have
I'm not.
passed up.
Oh,
You
go ahead. I'm sorry.
you could have passed up somebody really good for you,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
in your field, like minds, together, work on projects together. I mean,
Yeah, but yeah,
mm,
my feeling was like I worked too hard to get my PhD to throw everything away over sex. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to throw it. And people flip the script and all that. So I'm not saying this guy's an innocent victim. I don't know. We don't know the situation, but I really think that this interesting workplace culture that we've established, where we treat consensual sex almost like it's a type of assault.
mm-hmm.
I just think that that's fundamentally
Well,
wrong,
I
and
think
and
they
I think
had.
black men have to. I think black
Mm-hmm,
men have to be really careful, and I
mm-hmm.
think, and that's one of the reasons why I was really happy to have my own business, because I don't have to live by those corporate rules. I get to date you, and ain't nobody gonna file an HR complaint. Go ahead.
Yeah, but things can come out. I mean, you definitely don't want to
That's
date
true.
any. You definitely don't want to hire anybody that you date. To
Well,
work for your company.
that's true, and I think.
That's a terrible
Well,
thing to do.
I think also the environment that we live in now, where you have remote work, right? Since the pandemic, a lot of
Mm-hmm,
people are working from home and all that stuff. I really think that probably keeps a lot of people out of trouble.
mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah. So, anyway, anyway, guys, Alicia and I have to run. We got a meeting in a
Yeah.
couple of minutes, but we want to say thank you guys for joining us today on Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Also, just a reminder, my new book is coming out, actually, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And I'll let you guys know more about that as it happens. And also, Alicia's website, if you want to follow her and see what she does. She sees couples and things like that. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's the URL. You can also follow her online at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. So, everybody, please have a great day. It was wonderful talking to you. We love you. We can't wait to talk to you again. And have a great day. God bless you. And we will see you soon. Take care now. Peace.
Okay. Bye, everyone.